Meet Sarah Winnemucca, was a teacher, an author, and a fierce advocate for the rights of Native Americans. Born in 1844 in the Oregon Territory to a white father and a Northern Paiute mother, Winnemucca's life was deeply affected by the changing times. As a young woman, she witnessed the near destruction of her tribe, the Northern Paiute, and dedicated her life to their protection. She became one of the first Native American female authors with her 1897 book, The Life Story of a Desert Neva. In it, she passionately defends her people, denouncing the U.S. government for its unjust treatment of Native Americans. Despite facing racism and sexism, Winnemucca fought tirelessly for equality, even meeting with President Teddy Roosevelt to demand justice. But her efforts were not enough, and in 1906, she passed away, forgotten by most Americans, yet remembered by those who knew her as a brave and brilliant woman who gave her all for her people. Or maybe you'd like to hear about Bass Reeves. Bass Reeves was a former slave-turned-Texas Ranger. Born in 1838 in Arkansas, Reeves' life took a violent turn when his father was killed in a raid by slave catchers. This event ignited a passion for justice in young Bass that would shape his entire life. At the age of 19, he escaped captivity and made his way to Texas, where he joined the Union Army during the Civil War. After the war, he continued to fight for justice as a member of the newly formed Texas Rangers. Despite facing intense racism and prejudice, Reeves became one of the most respected members of the force, known for his bravery, skill, and integrity. Over the course of his career, he captured over 3,000 criminals, including murderers, rapists, and thieves. He was also a key figure in the capture of the notorious outlaw Cole Younger. Despite his many accomplishments, Reeves was ultimately forced to leave the Rangers due to the department's discriminatory policies. He spent his later years working as a jailer and deputy sheriff, continuing to serve his community and uphold the law. Though his name might not be as familiar as some of his fellow Rangers, Bass Reeves' contributions to law enforcement and his dedication to justice are undeniable. Every week we'll bring you the story of one of these forgotten figures, highlighting their achievements and the reasons they should be remembered. Join us as we uncover the hidden histories of those who deserve to be remembered. Now it's time to choose. Whose story will you hear first? The fiery Sarah Winnemucca, or the legendary lawman Bass Reeves? You decide. There are so many stories of incredible people throughout American history that most of us have never heard of. People who did incredible things but for one reason or another didn't make it into the history books. And if we're being honest, there are probably some people whose names are in the history books that don't deserve to be there. So let's take a moment to shine a light on some of these forgotten figures. Hi, I'm the host, and this is Forgotten Figures, a series that explores the lives of some lesser-known historical figures from the United States and the impact they had on our nation's past. Every episode will dive into the life of one of these forgotten figures, exploring their accomplishments and learning why they have been left out of the history books. Some of the people we will cover may have been deliberately erased from history, like Sarah Winnemucca, a Native American activist and writer whose work helped change the way we think about westward expansion, or Bass Reeves, one of the first black deputy marshals west of the Mississippi River, whose story has only recently begun to come to light. Other episodes will focus on people like John Bell Hood, a Confederate general whose military career was both brilliant and controversial, or William Clark, the co-founder of the Boy Scouts of America, whose contributions to the organization have been largely forgotten in the wake of its many scandals. Each episode moves at a fast pace, hitting all the major points of their life, their accomplishments, their struggles, and their ultimate impact on American history. But don't worry, just because we move fast doesn't mean we gloss over anything. We want to give each person covered at least one thing they can take away: a new perspective on a familiar event, a deeper understanding of an important time period, or a new appreciation for someone whose name might just be familiar to them. So who do we have planned for you? Well, how about the woman considered to be the first female outlaw in the United States, Pearl Hart? How about the man who served as Abraham Lincoln's personal bodyguard for much of the Civil War, William H. Carney? Or what about the first woman to ever serve as an American ambassador, Mary Harriman? Maybe you've heard of these people, maybe you haven't. The point is, we want to make sure that even if your knowledge of American history is limited, you'll still be able to get something out of every episode. Plus, even if you know a lot about American history, there's always more to learn, and we guarantee you'll walk away with at least one new piece of information. So sit back, relax, and let us take you on a journey through time as we explore the lives of some forgotten figures. Now, we could do this all day, but we have to leave some people for next time, right? There are literally thousands of lesser-known historical figures in the US whose stories need to be told, and we'd love to tell them all. But we can't wait until next week's episode to tell you about someone who we think deserves to be remembered. This person was a former slave who became one of the most successful businessmen of his time. He was born into slavery in 1838 on a plantation in Louisiana and was forced to work there, till he was 20 years old when he was finally able to purchase his freedom. After purchasing his freedom, he moved to New Orleans and began working as a waiter and barber, while also investing in real estate. Eventually, he became one of the wealthiest Black Americans of his time. Despite facing discrimination and violence, he was a prominent figure in the community and helped found several schools for Black children. But who was this person and what was their impact on American history? Well, if you stick around until next week's episode, we'll tell you all about it. Till then, though, we hope you enjoy this episode and learn something new. Thanks for watching.